It's Nolan. I do not tell like I'm in the cartel. I be on the ground like Tony Hawk real. Shout to sweat a nigga like gon' got trail. That's sweat. I just go up and tell me how can I feel. Tell me how can I feel. Clap your ass in ovation. Too much money, can't send a location. Shoot through the city, 3-point long range. Backyard pool party, girl butt naked. Wifed up, nigga piped up. Cocaine in the plane, fuck your life up. Vin rings in the scene, choke a nigga out. TKO, that him and the price up, yeah. 35 going on 50. 20K going on 60. 38 blowing, don't miss it. Y'all niggas on dust like Pixie. Bout K got better, I mix it. Make kids, let me go out, no Lizzie. Got Giuseppe Gillespie, I'm dizzy. Well connected, my link is exquisite. Honey, y'all dash in the field, got cash in the wheel. I blare with the steel VVs on me. I splash in the veil, can't V low key on the glare. Let's kill, I smash in the veil. Let's cool champagne in the flute. 3K on the suit, like Came a long way from the stoop, like Playing with my name, pew pew, like What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. If you like that little snippet at the top of the show, that is a new song that I've been working on, so I had to give y'all a little taste of it real quick. That song, shit, man, what is the name of that song right now? It's got a tentative title, Cartel. But y'all will get the full thing next year because I'm working, baby. As y'all know, last night we broke news with this whole Jay-Z and the Accuser, the Tony Busby whole thing. Seems like their story is starting to fizzle out. It's breaking down. It's melting right before our eyes. You know what I'm saying? The so-called Accuser victim did an interview with NBC News yesterday, and a lot of the details that were in the lawsuit that would have impacted Jay-Z, and subsequently it would have also impacted Diddy since he was also named in that suit. The details just don't seem to line up, right? This young girl was allegedly 13 at the time. They're saying that she went from Rochester, New York to Manhattan, which is a 5-hour ride. So we're also trying to figure out how she got there. That was a very long ride. She said there was a 20-year-old friend who allegedly dropped her off. That's a long ass ride to just drop somebody off. This person that was 20 years old at the time is conveniently deceased, so can't nobody ask them no questions. The father, who allegedly picked her up after the incident occurred, doesn't remember any of it. Her story says that he drove up. She ran to a local gas station after getting out of this house. He drove up, picked her up, and didn't ask her not a single question. Not where she was, why she left the house, who she was with, how the hell did you get 5 hours away from here? We live in upstate New York. How the fuck did you get to the city? Nigga didn't allegedly say a goddamn word. Now today in 2024, he said that shit never happened. He does recall a situation where he did pick her up, where she snuck out. But he says that was a local drive. So no, she was nowhere near the city. She was nowhere near the VMAs or nothing like that. He said, I'm sure I would remember something like that. Right? Jay-Z and lawyers put out a statement yesterday, really like right as that came out. You know, so they're feeling good. They're riding high. But not only did Jay-Z and his lawyers issue a statement, at the very same time, they sent the letter to the judge working the case. Right? So if you thought that they was wasting any time getting their licks back with this Tony Busby situation, they are being extremely vigilant. Jay-Z is striking back, and he's striking back with an iron fist. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with y'all so we can see what it is that Jay-Z and co are saying to the judge. All right. So this is coming from Quinn Emanuel, of course. This is the legal team representing Jay-Z. This was filed yesterday as all of this was unraveling in front of us. All right. Honorable Annalisa Torres, that is the judge presiding over this case, or whatever you want to call it. And here we are. And of course, This was not filed against Jay-Z. It was filed against Diddy. Jay-Z was just later added and included in the story. So they say, Dear Honorable Judge Torres, we write to the court on behalf of our client Sean Carter on a matter of extraordinary and grave importance for the integrity of the proceedings in the above captioned case. Today at 7:27 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, NBC News reported on an interview that its reporters conducted with the anonymous plaintiff in this case. The interview outs plaintiff's allegations for what they are, a sham. Basic facts in her narrative, the who, what, when, and where are wrong. She claims her father picked her up after the assault. Her own father denies that ever happened. She claims she spoke with Benji Madden at the party that night, but he was on tour in the Midwest at the time, forcing her to admit, I've made some mistakes. I may have made a mistake in identifying. She claims the assault took place at an after party at Mr. Combs' home, but photos that night show Mr. Combs and Mr. Carter at Lotus nightclub for the after party. When pressed, the plaintiff admitted she was guessing about key details, including the time it took to reach the venue. She admits she has no single corroborating witness over the last 24 years. These stunning revelations make clear that the complaint filed by plaintiff's attorney, Anthony Busby, therefore, had no factual basis whatsoever. Even Mr. Busby is walking back the complaint he put his name to, excusing these glaring inconsistencies by pointing the finger at the case being referred by another firm who allegedly vetted the story before sending to them. The heinous allegations against Mr. Carter are patently false. That's one thing I really don't understand is how Tony Busby put that dust-ass photo up, talking about, yeah, I'm a Marine and I'm a stand for my honor. Y'all ain't gonna silence me. Y'all not gonna silence my client. Nah, he talking about, so yeah, man, they sent me this from another nigga, you know what I'm saying? They vetted it first. We going through it now. We trying to see what's going on because, you know, they sent it to me. You know what I mean? So I was just thinking, you know, maybe y'all could give me a little bit more time. Fuck out of here, boy. The complaint filed by plaintiff's attorney, Anthony Busby, therefore had no factual basis whatsoever. The heinous allegations against Mr. Carter are patently false. I just wanted to repeat that. In light of those developments, it is now clear that Mr. Busby signed the complaints and other filings in this case in violation of Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 11. Under that rule, an attorney who signs a document assumes an affirmative duty to conduct a reasonable inquiry into the facts and the law before filing. The attorney's signature denotes merit in the filing and sends a message to the district court that this document is to be taken seriously. Okay, plaintiffs may not file a complaint in this court without having made a reasonable investigation of the facts. In addition, attorneys who learn after a filing complaint that the factual assertions are false must immediately withdraw the claims. Oh shit, that's what y'all know. Jay-Z been looking for dismissal. Now he's trying to force Tony Busby to withdraw this from the courts. Okay? A lawyer shall not bring or defend a proceeding or assert or controvert an issue therein unless there is basis in law and fact for doing so that is not frivolous. Sanctions for amended complaint that repeated allegation that lacked evidence. So they're giving you some examples of other cases, right? Given today's revelations, Mr. Busby almost certainly failed to undertake a responsible inquiry into the facts before filing the complaint. He should never have brought the claims. These niggas, I love how assertive they're being with the judge. Damn. He should have never brought the claims. Affirming sanctions order where plaintiff's complaint was entirely frivolous and was made as part of a conscious effort to harass the defendant. At minimum, he should withdraw them now. Allowing these claims to remain pending even a moment longer not only harms Mr. Carter, his family, his businesses, his employees, and his legacy, it also impairs the integrity of the judicial system, thwarts the pursuit of justice, and silences the voices of true victims. Furthermore, it appears that Mr. Busby has attempted to circumvent the authority of this court to enforce Rule 11 and associated obligations by declining to seek admission to this court before signing pleadings and other documents. Mr. Busby is not licensed to practice law in this court, and he has not sought, let alone obtained, admission pro hac vice, Yet, in the nearly 8 weeks since he initiated the proceedings, Mr. Busby has filed a complaint in this matter that was signed solely by him using an blank signature. Signed the amended complaint alongside other counsel that added Mr. Carter as a defendant and noticed a motion for the plaintiff to proceed anonymously, accompanied by a supporting brief and a declaration, once again signed only by him. Most recently, on December 10th, 2024, Mr. Busby filed a letter, which he also signed alone. So they saying he's not even cleared to be practicing law in New York. You know what I'm saying? He ain't obtained no pro hoc vice. You know what I'm saying? Where he could come out here and, get permission to come fuck with us out here in this territory. He ain't got no additional counsel. He just moving about freely like he run this joint. Mr. Busby's failure to obtain admission to the bar of this court is a transparent attempt to circumvent the basic requirements of Rule 11 and the rules of professional conduct. Because let's be real, Tony Busby did not expect to make no appearance in no New York court. Tony Busby wanted niggas to send the wire. Admission subjects an attorney to the jurisdiction of the court and to sanctions for signing pleadings that are not grounded in the facts and law. And of course, sanctions are typically fines. Mr. Busby thus appears to have strategically declined to seek admission in order to avoid sanctions for a complaint that he knew had no factual basis. That's interesting. Strategically declined to seek admission in order to avoid sanctions. Given these facts, Mr. Carter intends to file immediately a motion to strike the first amended complaint under Rules 11C2 and 12F. And of course, the amended complaint is the one that includes his name. The first complaint only has Diddy, and they speak on unnamed celebrities with no identity. So it's saying, hey man, this thing needs to be withdrawn. He respectfully requests that the court shorten the filing deadline for that motion from 21 days to 1 day from the date of service in light of today's stunning public disclosures and the severe ongoing harm to Mr. Carter's reputation. So he said they want their shit down today. Telling y'all, man, these niggas is being quite aggressive and quite assertive with the judge. Just coming and throwing weight around. You know what I mean? Inspiring at the very least. I don't know what Tony Busby's going to do next. The ball is in his court. Last night when I came, I only had the text from NBC. Since then, video has been released of the alleged victim telling her story. I'm going to go ahead and run it for y'all. The victim identity still has not been disclosed. Excuse me. They have her in the shadows. They show her hands. They're saying that she's autistic and has possibly been SA'd at a later time in life again. All of these things. So I want to be respectful to all of the, trauma that she may have endured throughout her life. I'm not here to bash this young lady. I personally feel she was coerced. We already have a situation where Tony Busby has coerced somebody to try to include Diddy and Jay-Z in a lawsuit dealing with trafficking that had nothing to do with them. Tony Busby said, so when did you meet Diddy? They said, dog, I ain't never met that nigga. What are you talking about? I didn't come here for that. They said, well, it's going to work in your best interest if you include Diddy and or Jay-Z. They said, dog, I did not come here for that. They were subsequently dropped as a client because that's what Tony Busby was going for. What that tells me is from all of that traffic that he ended up incurring, because remember, Tony Busby took out all types of advertisements, created a hotline, did all of this stuff where thousands of people submitted claims of purported incidents. Not all of those people were reaching out just because of Diddy. You know what I'm saying? So now we're hearing that folks that reached out with their own issues, their own set of problems that they wanted, their own cases of similar nature. He's saying, okay, I like this. Now let's say Diddy did it. And if you throw in Jay-Z, even better. Again, because a lot of the other celebrities that have been named in some of this stuff, he alleges that they started paying. Now, I don't know for sure. He could have been lying. He could have been bluffing on that. He could have been saying, oh, well, we've been contacting celebrities, and they're paying up. Maybe they weren't paying up. I don't know. But ultimately, he knew he had a huge fish to go ahead and say, well, we're going to get Jay-Z's ass. I don't know. It ain't looking like it, but Jay-Z did say that Tony Busby was threatening to come out with a story about a man as well. Again, let's go ahead and run the footage of this interview from NBC of the alleged victim.
You're yourself. You should always advocate for yourself and be a voice for yourself. You should never let what somebody else did ruin or run your life.
A 38-year-old mother from Alabama who has filed a lawsuit accusing Sean Diddy Combs and Jay-Z of raping her when she was 13 years old is speaking out to NBC News for the first time. She asked us not to reveal her identity.
What made you want to come forward and talk today?
Because I think that I've been quiet long enough about what I've been through, and it's been hard enough to be quiet. But it's a chapter of my life that I'd like to close.
An NBC News review of her account found inconsistencies with her allegations. She says that she went to the MTV Video Music Awards in 2000 to catch a glimpse of her favorite celebrities.
You weren't scared to be all alone?
No, with having autism is like feeling like you live your life in a shatterproof juggle ball. The world's on fire. The fire is inside the ball with you, but there's no way for you to get out.
In addition to having autism, the woman says she suffered a head injury. The night of the 2000s VMAs, she says a friend drove her from Rochester, New York to Manhattan, a more than 5-hour drive. Her attorney provided NBC News with the name of the friend who has since died. The woman says she spoke to Combs' limo driver, who offered her a ride to an after party.
I stumbled upon Diddy's driver, who told me that I was exactly what Diddy was looking for.
What did you think when he said that to you?
I thought it meant that I was just pretty.
She went to a White House, she says, where she spoke to musicians Benji Madden and his brother.
I'm talking to Benji Madden about his tattoo because, I have about his tattoo that's the Last Supper, because I have a religious background. So it was just something to talk about.
In a statement to NBC News, a representative of the Maddens confirmed that they did not attend the 2000 VMAs and that they were on tour in the Midwest at the time. At the after party, she says she had a drink that made her feel woozy. Then she says Combs and Carter took turns raping her while a female celebrity watched.
JC comes in and rapes me. He at that point I was fighting, trying to get away from him, and he put his hand over my mouth and told me to stop it, cut the.
After the alleged rape, she says she ran to a gas station where she called her father, who picked her up and drove her home.
We rode home in silence. He didn't ask me what happened. He didn't ask me what I did or where I was.
In an interview with NBC News, her father said he could not verify the claims. Quote, I felt like I would remember that, and I don't. I have a lot going on, but that's something that would definitely stick in my mind, he said. When we asked the woman about the contradictions in a phone interview on Friday, she said that she stands by her statements. I have made some mistakes, she said. Honestly, what is the clearest is what happened to me. The inconsistencies in her account of an incident alleged to have happened 24 years ago does not necessarily mean the allegations are false. The accuser's attorney, Tony Busby, said, because we have interrogated her intensely, she has even agreed to submit to a polygraph. This has been extremely distressing for her, to the point she has experienced seizures and had to seek medical treatment due to the stress. In a statement to NBC News, Sean Carter said this incident didn't happen, and yet he filed it in court and doubled down in the press. True justice is coming. We fight from victory, not for victory.
Is any part of you scared coming out against such powerful people?
Yeah, I'm scared of what could happen, but I'm more afraid of letting it eat me alive from the inside out than I am of, being chastised by their fans.
All right, Chloe Malas joining us now live. Chloe, we just heard a very strongly worded statement from Jay-Z. What else are you hearing from him and his team?
Yes, so his attorney said that they're going to ask the court to, quote, dismiss this frivolous case. And also moments ago, we heard from Diddy's legal team, and I want to read you some of what they said. They said, quote, this is the beginning of the end of this shameful money grab. And remember, he remains behind bars at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center, and his criminal trial begins in May.
All right, very thorough reporting there. Chloe, thank you so much.
All right. So even Diddy gets a little sweat off his brow. You know what I'm saying? Now, Diddy got his own set of issues. You know what I mean? But I told y'all, that's why I stopped reporting on Tony Busby's stuff. Once that first thing fell apart, when they tried to say that Diddy had, inappropriately did something with a young boy, and that was like sensationalized in the press. And then by the time we actually got what happened, all we got was a photo of him putting his arm around this young kid for photos, and then he comes out crying, talking about he was touched in a weird way, and then there was no additional details about going into like a back room, secret room, or that he was taken away from his parents. All that they did was say he had his arm around him in the photo, and then his mom specifically, not the dad, but the mom complained that at a certain point in the party, marijuana was used in the presence of kids. Hey, I'm not somebody that smokes. I don't think people should smoke around children, but that does not hold the same weight as the allegation, right? Again, I think Diddy has enough of his own problems when it comes to Cassie, when it comes to Lil Rod, when it comes to Don Richard, when it comes to Miss Joy Dickerson-Neal. What was the other one? I forgot the lady's name. Miss Anna Kane, the minor that was flown from Detroit all the way to Jersey with Harv Pierre, and she literally has photos sitting on Diddy's lap in the studio as a minor. You know what I'm saying? He's got his own range of problems. Just because the Tony Busby saga seems to be unraveling and melting in front of us, as it pertains to Diddy, he got about 10 other issues that ain't going away, right? But Tony Busby, he saw an opportunity and he took it, and it's punching him in the fucking gut, okay? Now, just like I showed y'all Jay-Z, Diddy's whereabouts on the night in question, she said she spoke to Benji Madden, which is a part of the group Good Charlotte. They said that they were in the Midwest during this time period. Well, come to find out, they're telling the fucking truth. September 7th, which is the night of the VMAs in the year 2000, Good Charlotte performed at the Vic Theater in Chicago, Illinois. Okay? So they were definitely doing Midwest dates. The previous night before that, they were in Milwaukee, Wisconsin at a place called the Rave/Eagles Club. Perhaps the name of the venue has been changed. And so she said she talked to them. They were nowhere in sight. She said she also spoke to Fred Durst. Now, he might have performed at the VMAs. That was probably a breakout moment for him. But maybe I should look into that too. All right. Turns out Limp Bizkit, which is the band that Fred Durst was the lead man in, at least he was at the VMAs, but we don't know if he was at the after party. That we don't know. Okay? So there's that. As with all things going on with Jay-Z, folks have been looking to his former partner, Dame Dash, to see his thoughts. He dropped a video yesterday. Now, I will say his video dropped before all of this news broke. So he was responding to the events that occurred prior to last night's breakthrough in the story, but I am going to play some of his video because he did have some candid thoughts. It is edited for conciseness. If you want to see the entire video of Dame, of course, y'all know y'all can go to his channel, America New, to get all his content. But I found it very interesting that, you know, Dame wasn't going out his way to like shit on Jay. At one point, he even said, like, it brings me no joy. I don't feel good about this. I'm hoping it's not true. And I'm hoping that ultimately no one was hurt. Right. But he also talked about how he kind of had to go through a very similar situation once upon a time where he woke up, received a demand letter. Somebody had some heinous allegations against him. He had to fight against it, and it affected his family as well. So he does have a bit of empathy in his heart. He understands the ramifications that come with these types of allegations, whether they're true or not, the type of hit that you can take in the public view, especially with the advent of social media, which can tarnish your reputation even more than in previous generations, because people are talking about you 24/7, and you have people out there that, despite you providing evidence that shows you didn't do something, they can keep purporting the story and keep perpetuating this narrative that you did something, or this is the type of person you are, against the actual facts, right? So let's go ahead and pull up Dame and see what he had to say.
I can say this. You know, I've been looking at the news, and a couple of weeks ago I saw that, you know, that attorney had got sued for extortion. And I saw the lawyers that were on the case, and I saw that Alex Shapiro, or whatever his name is. So I was like, damn, homie might be jammed up or be a part of that. But I didn't think too much of it. I know that in my personal experience, gotten that demand letter on like.
And I want to jump in one more time because people have mixed this up. There is an Alex Spiro who represents Jay-Z. He's a man. Then there's an Alexandra Shapiro that represents Diddy. It's not the same person. This is a woman. Totally different people. They have similarities in their name, but they do not share legal counsel, and they're not in this together as far as my knowledge. Just want to clear that up because I've seen people that have sent that around. Oh, both of them are represented by Alex Shapiro. No. Jay-Z's lawyer's name is Alex Spiro. Diddy has a part of his legal team. It's a woman named Alex Shapiro, short for Alexandra.
Christmas Eve, a week after me and Rocky just lost a baby. You know, we were in Hawaii. All of a sudden I get an email saying from the lawyer, Chris Brown, this is not allegedly, this really happened. But I guess I'll say allegedly just in case, allegedly. But I got that letter and I forgot how many millions it was, and it was a ridiculous allegation. And I was still grieving the loss of an unborn child, but I was definitely angry because number one, those allegations were ridiculous. And it was from a person that we had caught, and again, I'm gonna say allegedly because I got sued for saying she stole, but because we caught her allegedly trying to steal. So I had a tape of us catching her, this girl, and it just seemed like it was very retaliatory, and you know, it just was something that was ridiculous. So, you know, I felt like they were trying to extort me. So I called my lawyer, and my lawyer looked at it that way, like, this is ridiculous. So my lawyer at the time, called the feds, and they said they were investigating it or whatever. But at the end of the day, what my lawyer told me was, listen, you'll go through the trial, you know, it's not true, it's ridiculous, and it won't stand up. And then after that, you'll be able to sue for any loss of business that you had, and that it could potentially be a frivolous lawsuit. So, you know, I put that video up, and again, I put that I caught this girl stealing or whatever, allegedly, and that's one of the charges that I had was defamation, because she didn't, in fact, steal I just had busted her trying to leave with $5,000 worth of equipment, allegedly. I don't want to get sued. But because of that word, I think they hit me for 40 grand just for that. But then I did an interview, you know, because I had a lot to say, and to me, statements are meant to be quick and short. But if I'm being transparent and I'm being truthful, then I have no problem saying my side of the story with no exposure. So I did a radio interview right then and there. For me, full transparency is important. Because of the way I approached it, I think my children already knew what the drill was, like, in the rest of the world. Because I get these questions, like, you know, because people have been texting me, calling me all day, all night. And they like, well, this affects his reputation and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, you know, if he goes through the trial, because when they say like a money grab, it's not a money grab to me. It's more like if somebody comes to me and says, yo, I'm accusing you of raping a 13-year-old and you want to settle, it's like, that's unsettlable. If it didn't happen, I'm not settling that, because it's like saying you admitted to doing something. That's an offer that you just can't settle on some allegation like that. You know, you got to take that to trial, to me. You know, that's how I would look at it. So I don't think this lawyer came with the intention of thinking that, you know, someone like Homeboy was going to settle. And then you have to actually prove it. So what happens is, and this is from my personal experience, you know, first they try to dismiss it, but that never happens. It's just, to me, a procedure so lawyers get paid. And then you have to have discovery, and then there's the deposition. So there's where it could be problematic, because either way, if this case goes forward, there will be a deposition. And that's where you can ask that person anything about anything, and that's where a lot of other things can happen. And you can't lie, because that's the purpose of a deposition, is if you say something that's not true and then they prove it, now your word is discredited. You impeach yourself. So that's the purpose of a deposition, to get you to say something on paper and say something different in the courtroom. And then, okay, and then that's what happens. So for me personally, you know, I've gone through that where I've been accused and then go through a whole trial. And in the trial, it just doesn't stand up. It falls apart. You know, if you're lying, it just comes out. At least that's what my experience has been. You know, but it's definitely traumatizing. Like my girl, you know, in my situation, they accused my girl as well, just because they were trying to get in her pockets, allegedly. So I know that the toll it took on my girl, because she never went through nothing like that before, you know? And then I remember back to, you know, me being accused of something again, and it was on the cover of the New York Post, and me talking to my son, and it was the first time he was like, yo, you ain't got to take me to school today. Like, I remember that conversation, and me saying, yeah, I don't want to bring that attention to you. You don't deserve it. But, you know, bottom line is it wasn't true. So being in the public eye means you have the exposure, because unfortunately, anyone can accuse you of something and you have to go to court. But it does have to stand up. And if you lose $1 because of that false accusation and it becomes frivolous, then you have a potential lawsuit against the person that brought one to you. It's just a patience thing and the tolerance to go through. But it's like, I don't want to say it's part of the game, but unfortunately, like, it happens a lot, these accusations. So, you know, for me, I can't remember 2000, that MTV. I'm trying to think, like, what party? You know, this is me now personally, like, I don't know, I don't remember, so I don't know. I would always think and try to give people the benefit of the doubt. But on a personal level, I can't remember. I don't remember being at that party. I remember that outfit with J Nolan and Puff with the white t-shirts and watching that on TV. I don't remember going to the party, but I could be wrong. But I haven't seen pictures. If I know my outfit, I usually know what I did. I can remember based on my outfit. That gives me sort of context. But I don't see that. So I don't know. I was definitely surprised at the long statement, because, you know, I've been to court with Homeboy and he doesn't say anything. He never responds. He has his lawyer speak. So I know that it must bother him because he actually said something in the length of the statement, you know. And it was funny because Honor Up just came out the night before, and I'm hearing words like honor in the statement. But again, you know, for me, I have nothing to do with it, and I'm trying to like look at it objectively like everyone else is. So for me, it's like, of course, people are going to be like in the bots, the stupid ass bots, and people that are just like, I don't know, but they're going to be, oh, he's talking about him again. But right now, the whole world is talking about him every day, all day. So then it made me think about being famous and how dangerous that is, because they're really, you know, they're doing the same thing that happened with Puff as far as the way the algorithm is. To me, it's worse. And they're scrutinizing every single thing from the last 20, 30 years. Every lyric, I've been sensed up. They take the statement and put it in AI. I'm seeing Forbes flip. It's like, it's just, people could love you one day, but they just love to really hate you so much more. And that was a person that I was like, he can't do no wrong. I know, because, you know, for some reason, every single thing I say is considered smart except when it comes to him. I'm smart about everything but that. So I'm like, I mean, all right. And I'm not saying, because again, I have no idea what happened there. And I'm hoping everything is where I would prefer that no one got hurt, to be honest. But I didn't think that they would flip on him like that. When I went through it, the scrutiny was nothing like this. You know, the way they're breaking it down on TikTok and on social media and how they're talking about it in pop culture, I've never had to sustain that. My kids have never had to go through that. I also think about how I felt and feel about the lawyers that are, you know, when I'm in a trial, that are getting at me. Pause. And generally speaking, I do hate those lawyers. And the reason why in my case is because I feel like, you know, again, I'll say allegedly because I don't know, I don't want to get sued or nothing, but I generally know that they're representing a lie and that they're only doing it for money. And, you know, it's hard not to resent them for that when you know that the person accusing you of something is only doing it for bread. So I'm not saying that this is that case, but I do understand the aggression toward the lawyer. But, you know, this particular lawyer, he seems like he's with the shits. And it seems like he's very strategic. Like if I'm a thinking man, and this is just me objectively looking at the play, I just feel like he's triggering for certain reactions because he knows what he's up against. And I think he's going to leverage the emotion. So, you know, like, you know, a guy like that from what I see, that lawyer, it seems like he's very successful. You know, I've had lawyers get at me that aren't the most successful. So that would be concerning to me that a lawyer of that caliber with that percentage of winning would even be, you know, thinking that confidently that he would be more, you know, get more success based on these ridiculously wild allegations. So I'm curious to see how all that's going to play out, because also my personal experience with Homeboy's lawyer is he's with the shits completely. Like, I know homie's not going to go out swinging no matter what it is. So it's going to be interesting to see those two dynamics getting at each other. You know, and they both seem like they're preparing. So it's also going to be some degree of a chess match. What I'm happy about is that I'm not involved. And that, you know, again, I can always look at my life and be happy about where it's going and that I chose to put my family as my business and just surround myself with, people that I love that I know also love me. So I guess it'll be interesting. I was surprised because I've never seen Homeboy respond to anything, that he responded, and that he responded in such, a lengthy way. Because again, he never responded to anything before. So seeing him actually, that's how I know this must really be a problem. And I know how important it is for him to look a certain way to corporate. But again, this is me as objectively, I hear everything. I know I'm not supposed to be ever allowed to talk about what's going on with this dude. It's the topic of conversation. It's the elephant in the room. But I'm not going to say that I'm happy about it. When I was hearing all the things, because to me it seems like they were prepping this dude for a while, in social media, to cook him, for months. In that moment, I was like, man, that's terrible.
Now, of course, he said a lot more. Again, you'll have to go check out his video on America New, where you can see the entire thing, where he talks about Jaguar Wright and Cat Williams and other people who came out and said things and talked about how they kind of predicted that Jay-Z would kind of be faced with these types of allegations, or something would come out. I think Sloan Bella, which Jay-Z kind of made some sort of reference to in his initial statement, talking about all the psychics out there that were trying to pin things on him. But ultimately, from what I'm hearing from Dame Dash, I don't hear the account of a man who hates Jay-Z. I don't hear the account of a man who doesn't still have a soft spot or some sort of level of empathy. I think when it's all said and done, I don't know, when them niggas is damn near 60 years old, I mean, they pushing it. Maybe they could hash things out, especially now that they've got the business part of their relationship completely severed. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. But again, the way Dame spoke, he wasn't reckless. He didn't speak out of emotion. He didn't speak out of just scorn, even though he had just recently lost his ownership of Rockefeller to the state of New York without getting the money he was intending for. He still ain't seemed to be all that worked up as we've seen him in previous instances. Now, there is an account out there from this account called Ain't No Jigga, which is basically a Jay-Z archival page. They keep up with all types of stuff that happened in his career, his family, friends, photos. They've got a whole fucking slew of just archived shit about him. And they say, and this is not something that they came up with, this was posted in January of 2022. They say that Dame Dash was indeed at that after party, right? Somebody out there may have to show Dame his outfit. I don't see photos, but this is what it says in the post. Jay-Z with friends Brian and Matt photographed while in attendance at the MTV Music Video Awards held at the Radio City Music Hall in Midtown Manhattan on September 7, 2000. That evening, Jay's Big Pimpin' had been nominated for Best Rap Video, but lost to Dr. Dre, and Eminem's Forgot About Dre. He chose not to walk the red carpet that evening, and there is only one known photograph of him sitting in the audience before he left. Brian and Matt had connections in the entertainment industry that blessed them with all access passes to the award show. When they went to the downstairs VIP bar to grab a drink, they saw Hove and Dame Dash sitting in the corner laughing with the Rockefeller Records crew. Brian approached the group and asked if they could get a photo with the Brooklyn rapper. He asked where they were from, and when he heard Yonkers as the reply, Hove joked, "How y'all are crazy up there." As a matter of fact, that's not even the after party. That's actually the VMAs itself downstairs. Okay? In the VIP area. So, Dame, perhaps you watched it on the TV while being at the VMAs, perhaps you weren't sitting in the crowd because Jay-Z got up from the crowd himself after losing his Big Pimpin' Best Rap video to Dre. But you were definitely out and about. You didn't watch it on TV, sir. You was there. Now, I don't know if your outfit would help ring a couple bells. Now, whether or not you went to the after party, we don't know. I had to correct myself on that. There's also a journalist that came out and kind of spoke on whereabouts that evening. And she says, I was working for a prominent paper and I did a write-up for that night. He never went to an after party, and Diddy didn't host a party that night. They were at a Manhattan club called Lotus that night. Diddy was in a private section. Jay-Z was never in his section, nor were they hanging out. Diddy later was spotted entering his New York townhome with Jennifer Lopez at 3 a.m. Once again, he did not have a mansion at that time. He had a townhouse. So there's no U driveway, nowhere. No big mansion, nowhere. Not at this time. Alone. We ran the photos, she says. In fact, you can even Google them. There's zero truth to this BS story, and it's easily proven, thankfully, which is why he's calling out the accuser. Also, Lotus nightclub had off-duty police officers as bouncers, and they never let in a 13-year-old girl, nor would they. She claimed it was a party at his house, but he didn't have a mansion back in 2000. Diddy lived in an exclusive townhouse on Park Ave in NYC that he bought in 1998. Everything about her story so far doesn't line up. She said a party at Diddy's mansion. He had a townhouse. She said after party at house. The after party was at a club. And then everyone went their separate ways. And Diddy was photographed entering his townhouse with J-Lo after leaving Lotus nightclub. Right? And I wouldn't be surprised if the mysterious woman that witnessed this, they were going to try to run that as J-Lo. But now that everything is falling apart, I think this entire filing gets tossed, hopefully by the judge, or perhaps Tony Busby does the right thing and gets rid of it on his own. We'll see. But that's what we have so far. Again, I think that there's still going to be more because Jay-Z and his legal team are being very vigilant about this. You know, we're about a week or so away from Beyonce's NFL performance on Netflix. So him and his family are preparing for that. We still got the Super Bowl coming up with the NFL in February. I'm quite sure, although the NFL came out and said they're supporting him, that they're looking at this closely behind the scenes to see how this thing turns out. Because if they can get it dropped, I don't see them severing their relationship with Jay-Z. I've seen some people say, you know, they're supporting him now, but the contract ends after this Super Bowl. I wouldn't be surprised if the NFL re-ups. Jay-Z's brought a lot of goodwill to the NFL. He's brought a lot of people back to the NFL as far as viewers that once upon a time said that they wasn't fucking with them no more. He's revived the importance of the halftime show because right before he got there, the shit was hanging on by a thread. So if they do away with Jay-Z and Rock Nation from the Super Bowl, that would mean major changes for them. And who are they going to bring in that has the same level of connections within the industry that can, you know, successfully pull off what they've been able to pull off these last few years? Yeah, there's always going to be a Super Bowl halftime show. There's always going to be that. But just remember, it wasn't that long ago where niggas was like, man, halftime show ain't hitting on shit. I might not even watch it this year. I know I remember. Let me know what y'all think of all this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, become an insider, and I will catch y'all on the next one. All right? Much love and respect. Y'all stay safe out there. Peace.
King of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like soldier rags. Leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the gouda. We hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef for computers, I'm straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. With drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they doubted me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I been dropping these haters like calories. Cross them out, I came back with some boundaries. Stand for my honor, but too raw, no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. Wanna catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.